From Bolga, let's go back to the Ashanti region, where a new research has revealed that 26% of delegates in the Ashanti region doubts the NPP's breaking the 8 agenda to retain power in the 2024 election. Respondents cite the government's failure to complete projects under the 1 million per constituency initiative as a major impediment. The grip of the party also in its political stronghold is also threatened by outcomes of recent party elections at the polling and constituency levels. From the polling station to the regional level elections, factions have evolved, with some aggrieved persons seeking redress in court. Nana Ojima has been focusing on efforts to deal with these cases as re-elected regional chair Bernard Entwebo-Esiako launches an agenda to break the 8.
The research by Dr. Smart Sapon of Kumasi Technical University ahead of the NPP's delegates conference accurately predicted a 57.8% of ballots cast for the incumbent Bernard Entwebo-Esiako, missing that of the closest contender by 2 percentage points. Part of the research also reviewed some party delegates fear that breaking the 8 agenda is unachievable.
Only 73% of Ashanti region delegates believes the NPP can break the 8. What it means is that about 26% of delegates, not common floor members, it's the delegates that are going to influence the common floor members. If the delegates, 26% of them do not believe the NPP can break the 8, then it is the first assignment for the elected regional executives. They are to bring their delegates to the level of believing that they can break the 8.
The Ashanti region has since 1992 voted in favor of NPP, contributing 71% of votes to the party's victory chalked in 2020. But some party members believe internal wranglings could affect the fortunes of the party in the next general elections. Many pending cases in court are challenging elections in constituencies, as the Alternative Dispute Resolution Committee of the party makes efforts to clear these cases. Bernard Entwebo-Esiako, who has led the NPP in the region to 2 elections, promised party members to fight towards strengthening the grounds in the region.
Edru baby a esene katre makro edru baby anaka. So obi ye bonia for 2024 breaking the 8 sake. Me name regional executive say ye de ache obi a.
But deep cracks in the grassroots of the party may deny the party of its vision. 4 out of 47 constituencies were denied voting rights at the regional delegates conference due to court actions. Among other reasons, credibility of elections in other constituencies is being challenged. Secretary of the Elections Committee in the region, Henry Kwabena Kukufu, says appropriate action is being taken.
We do have what I term issues or conflict management, resolution management strategy. We know how to manage it. We know that issues will arise, but when they come, how do you tackle them and how do you manage them? So in our own wisdom and the wisdom of the National Party, we will come together, form the reconciliatory committee in earnest and bring everybody on board.
After the regional delegates conference on Saturday, the party activated its reconciliation efforts. Leaders are expected to put the party together towards attaining their objective to break the 8. Osei Mensa Bunsu is majority leader in parliament.
I think we can break the 8, but a lot will depend on how hard we commit ourselves to working to salvage that cause. It is not just by lip service. We must hit the grounds, we have our boots on the ground and work very hard.
Meanwhile, in finding a lasting solution to the problem with internal elections, there are calls for expansion of voting rights for all registered party members. Akwesi Osei Ejei is aspiring national chairman of the party.
delegate system doesn't help. So if everybody is voting, then they are part of the decision making, then it reduces that. Whoever wins, this is something I will push as a chairman, that we should make every card-bearing person vote. That will take away the delegate system, because the delegate system is no good. How many people did they consult before they came here to cast their votes? No.
As internal party mechanisms are being triggered to deal with the divided front, the agenda to break the 8 will largely depend on unity of party members. For JoyNews.
Let's broaden the conversation and speak with Dr. Smart Sapon. He's a political science lecturer and research fellow at the Kumasi Technical University. He put together the research. First, Doc, I'm grateful for your time. Let's look at the sampling and methodology for this research. How did you come by this conclusion?
Great. Good morning to your cherished viewers. I estimated a total of 869 delegates to cast their votes. I excluded the TESCOM group because I wasn't sure of the constituency, their total number. So I put that into bracket and I estimated about 64 for them, but I excluded them because I was not certain. But the number I was certain about as delegates to cast their votes in Ashanti were 869, including the elected and appointed delegates for the various 47 constituencies, as well as Council of Patrons, MPs, and all those other people. And I set out to interview as many elected delegates of the 47 constituencies as possible. I excluded MPs because of their movement. But as for the constituency executives, I knew where to get them in the various constituencies, so I focused much more on them. I got 540 of them to attend to my research, and the responses that I shared with the media is based on responses I gathered from 540 constituency executives in the Ashanti region.
Now, your research indicates that the grip of the NPP in its political stronghold, which is the Ashanti region, is threatened. On what basis does this research draw this conclusion?
Well, so as part of the things I sought out to elicit from them included whether or not they as delegates or as party constituency executives do believe whether or not the party can break the 8 and whether or not they are motivated to breaking the 8 and what could be the reasons thereof. Then, as you reported, 26% of the constituency executives in Ashanti region did not believe that the party can break the 8. They stated some very useful reasons I have put together as 20 points recommendations for the party. Some of them included what you mentioned. The constituency executives appear to be delinked from activities of government in the various constituencies. Example is the 1 million per constituency that were given to various constituencies through their MPs. It appears the transition from Madam Hawa Kumsin to the various authorities did not come with much information to those at the base. So there were instances where constituency executives do not have any information. I appear to even have more information on projects supposed to be in their constituencies under 1 million per constituency than the executives at the base. And they think that those things, the fact that the party at the base is extremely delinked from government is a cause to be worried about. And if that trend continues, they don't believe breaking the 8 would be a reality, to remain a slogan. Yes.
Go ahead, Doc.
Yes. So also they think that the party appears to be empowering individuals other than empowering the party at the base. So they think there are 17 people managing a constituency, and when scholarships come, or perhaps slots, as they call it, to some recruiting agencies come, instead of it coming to the party is set aside, and a single individual somewhere who is a friend to somebody in Accra is more empowered. He comes there as though he cares more for the constituents than even the party executives. And they think if the party would keep relying on individuals other than working with the entire party, the party structure at the base, they would be demotivating them from working towards breaking the 8. I will compile them. In fact, I have compiled them into a 20-point recommendation. I'll be sharing with the media in the course of the week, so we can discuss it. It is not intended to cause any discomfort in the system. It is to let them be aware that, yes, breaking the 8 as it is now appears to be their target, but 26% of their own people, delegates and executives at the base, will be for their party, do not believe. And if they take it wisely and work towards it and bring those delegates to the level of believing, then we can at least trust that they work towards something they now believe in.
Doc, let's look at the respondents. You talk about 540 of the constituency executives that you spoke with. Is this a true representation of the membership of the party in that region?
Yes, it is over-representative. Usually, you need about 20% of the delegates to construct your confidence bounds, your confidence intervals. I did 62.4% of the executives at the base. They come across all the 47 constituencies. Only that not all the 17 at the base were participated. Some were not available as was expected. But this 540 respondents cut across all the 47 constituencies in Ashanti, and they are true elected or appointed delegates or executives at the various constituencies. I think if I do 62.4% of the total number of executives, I have gone beyond the loss of inertia of live samples, the loss of regularity of live samples, the central limits theorem. There are a lot of laws that goes to establish the concept of representativeness. All these laws have been oversubscribed if I use 62.4% of the targeted population.
Doc, what recommendation did your research profile to get these 26% of the members to come along with the party on the agenda of breaking the 8?
The key of the recommendations would be for government to come down to the base and respond to some of their basic. Some of them have very, very simple needs. And some of the problem too has got to do with general issues in town that concerns everybody, especially, for example, the school feeding. All the women organizers who responded to my research were worried that they've been indebted, they've been overburdened with debts for accepting to cook for our own children under the school feeding, and that for quite a long time, their fees or monies are in arrears, and the party has rather impoverished them other than making them work for some income. They feel if they were there on their own, managing their own affairs, it would have been better than for them to have been engaged in school feeding, been made to go for loans, use it to cook, and for quite a long time. They estimate almost 3 times or a year of arrears, and they think some of these things are sources of demotivation to them, even they as party executives. And then the reflection of those things will not be good for them going into 2024. So the government fortunately have some time to respond to these concerns of their own party executives at the base. Hopefully, if they do that, their belief and motivation will be back, and they can work towards breaking the 8. So Accra should respond to the base. A lot of them are worried. Some say just 180 Ghana cedi for Zoom Lion workers have been in arrears for quite a long time. And they wonder why such people cannot be paid 180 Ghana cedi a month.
I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Smart Sapon. He is a political science lecturer and research fellow at the Kumasi Technical University. Let's take a break on Joy News Desk. When we return, there's the very latest coming from the world of business.